Good morning, everyone, and welcome to beautiful Gulfstream Park. Ron Nicoletti, along with Acacia Courtney, and there you see our turf course and our fast main track, and firm this morning. And Acacia, I tend to exaggerate a little bit, especially
No.
when it comes to the weather. But today is a fantastic morning here at Gulfstream Park.
Yeah, it's actually a little bit cooler than it has been. It's very comfortable. It's a great day for thoroughbred racing. We've been really lucky as far as the weather and how the weather has been going. It looks like it's going to be beautiful and in the 80s all next week leading up to the Florida Derby as well.
Yeah, it looks like a great week of racing next week, but we got a fantastic weekend ahead. A little later on, we got 3 stakes with the Melody of Colors, the Grade 3 Hurricane Birdie, and, of course, the Texas Glitter. But we got lots of action, so let's go through. We got Beat the Expert yesterday, and apparently no one picked as many as winners as I did, so we'll see how that plays out. No winners again for me. I thought I only had about 3 or 4, so it was a tough day of handicapping.
Yes, it was. Well, we appreciate everybody that played. It's free to play as always. There'll be one more for the championship meet. I'll be in the hot seat next week on Friday on the eve of the Curlin Florida Derby day, so hope that you will get ready and get your handicapping hats on for that.
Yeah, we got a $1 million jackpot guarantee in the Rainbow Six a little later on. And with this 12-race card, we have 3 pick 4s today. And we got that ever-popular middle pick 4 in race 5.
That's right. 3 pick 4s, the Rainbow Six, and 2 pick 5s. What more could you ask for?
Yeah, let's go and see your early pick 5 ticket.
I guess what more could you ask for? You could ask for a winning pick 5 ticket, that's for sure. I'm 4 deep to start things off, and I know it's early yet, but look at the board right now. The current favorite is 5-1. There's a couple of horses around that price range, and I wanted some coverage in the opener. This is a very tricky race to start things off. I've got 3 horses in the second race. Just don't really trust anybody in there. And because I wanted to spread, I'm going to just pull the trigger and single in race number 3. Social Equality off the claim in the dropping class for Jorge Delgado. Very good numbers off the claim for this barn, so I'm going to stand alone with that one. 3 deep in the 4th, and in race number 5, I do have the 2 horses that I think are the most logical in this spot. Yes, this time, certainly eyes on him.
Yeah, so with a really nice ticket for $36. And you're absolutely right about this early race here with the current 5-1 favorite. It's the number 6, Bryn Bello, who's going to the Kelly Breen barn today after the claim and cutting back to the about 7.5 furlong distance. Went up last time, prompted the pace. Finished third, was the odds-on choice that afternoon, going a mile and a 16th. We had some rain. The turf was listed as good. The barn has been really good first off the claim. And MSCL Jaramillo and the speed horse in the opener, you sort of got to give it a second look.
No, I agree. And I was probably too hard on her. It's just that she's been disappointing in like the last 4 starts. It's ever since dropping in class, and I never even really liked her that much running up in Special Weight Company in New York, and she just seems to underperform for the amount of money that she takes, particularly last time when she was 50 cents to the dollar with Todd Pledger and couldn't get the job done. I don't think it was the track. I just think that she's that type of horse. Maybe she just meets the right field today. I took a shot with the 1 Careless Heiress, who was actually 20-1 on the morning line. I didn't realize she was such a big price, but she's taking some attention right now at 7-1, but it's the drop in class. I mean, her first 3 races were on the Tapeta up at Woodbine. Last time, tried the turf, showed a little bit of early interest. I think it was actually a salty field in maiden special weight. Always late, came back to win again for Bill Mott. The blinkers go on today, and I'm thinking from the inside, I just hope that Edgar Prado sends and she runs away from the rest of this field.
Yeah, she bobbled a little bit at the start last time, but she still was able to go up there and contest the pace. The drop is certainly good. A good selection. That's the kind of race it is in here. I use the 8 Dreaming of Audrey. Look at that, our selections. I think we have 1 horse in common. That's the number 9. Dreaming of Audrey has a claiming tag sliced in half today after following a second-place finish against those special weight runners. Going a mile with a so-so outing against those 50 maidens, going 8.5. Another one I like on just because of the drop.
Yeah, she was on the bubble for me. I actually had some interest in her as well. I did include the 5 Cosi, who dropped to this level last time, ran pretty well. It's the Antonio Sano Jr. Alvarado angle. And you do have Mike Trombetas. She's an earth mover who gets blinkers on today with Javier Castellano up.
Yeah, that's the one we agree on this afternoon. Sort of agree on. Second race this afternoon on the fast main track, 6 1/2 furlongs. Claimers fillies and mares 4-up, non-winners of 3 in life. We're going to have 7 in the field, and looks like a good spot for the 5, Lady Fiorella. Is turning back to 6.5 today. Uncorked that 3-wide rally. Finished third against Simler, going a mile on the wet fast track. Antonio, this is the type of races Antonio Sano wins.
No, absolutely. It makes a lot of sense in here. Turning back in distance, the win came 2 starts back at 7/8. Running the 6.5 today seems like a better spot. And even the mild try against non-3 types last time out was not too bad. Finished a good third. I thought that one was probably the one to beat. La Lali, second off the claim, was actually the favorite last time at an outside post with a horse with some speed. And I think does get a big rider switch to Edgar Zayas today.
Yeah, be rationing her speed this afternoon. I also have her in second. We get the same exact, and then I use the 3 Abareo Forever, stretching out rally between horses to finish second against Simla, going 3/4 of a mile. But it looks like the 5, Lady Fiorella, and the 7, La Lali, are major players in race number 2. Race number 3, 1 mile maiden claimer, 3-year-olds, $12,500. Scratch the inside horse in here, number 1. I started it off with a horse, Big Frank, who's going to the Jose D'Angelo barn after the claim and returns from the layup with both Lasix and blinkers added. I want to go back and show you this horse's last race. First, we're going to show you the start here where this horse that day is the number 6, and you're just going to see the start. They break, I don't know what Pete calls this one, but they were all in the line and gets pushed down. They just wanted to show that she's about 7 wide going into the first turn, so had to carve out a trip from there. Now you're going to see in the stretch the number 6. She did carve out that trip she got here, and during the stretch run, you're just going to see that she has to steady a little bit and alter course that day and ends up finishing second. There she has to put on the brakes, and she has to alter course and come to the outside, ends up finishing second. So I thought maybe with a clean break and a clean trip, she could be the one, and he could be the one in here, Big Frank.
Yeah, I I didn't know what to do with this horse, to be honest. I thought looking back at that last race, the reason he was caught wide was because he wasn't fast enough to clear. The blinkers do go on today, so maybe he will be sharper out, but he's had the tendency to not get out of the gate that quickly. Is a new gelding, freshened up, change of scenery. A lot of things could be in his favor today, and it was just the top 2 and everybody else in that race. But I thought this was a tricky field as well, and so that's why I ended up singling in here. It was either use 1 horse or use like 6 in the pick 5. So I took social equality, and this one, first off the claim for Jorge Delgado, was actually the favorite last time, but Ship Shape, the winner, was an upsetter, had the best trip and did come back to win again. And this one, I think, gets a slight drop in class, has consistently been running against tougher on a variety of surfaces in a barn that's good off the claim.
Yeah, today going the 1-turn mile, and we both had some interest in the 7 Exonerated Prez, stretching out to the mile today after responding to a drop down with the second place finish for Mr. Mike Maker. He's pretty solid with horses stretching out in distance, but you didn't need me to tell you that. So we'll see how Big Frank runs in here, or if Acacia's single social equality gets the job done. So we're not thinking too alike today, and I like that. So we got something to argue about when we get back to the office.
Little side wager.
4th race today, 5 furlongs on the turf. Allowance optional claim is state bred fillies, 4 and up. Optional tag is 16,000. No scratches, no jockey changes. And you went with the number 1 horse in here, War Star for Bill Deaton.
Yeah, this one has been knocking on the door in the last couple of races, and I realize that she's already been exposed at this level for a while and hasn't been able to get the job done recently. But I thought all in all, she was running, though it was the same level. I thought the caliber of horses that she was facing in her last couple was actually stronger than what she finds today. Richie's Great Girl, we know how good she was. Even Angel Sense, who's very, very fast. A couple of really quick Larry Ravelli runners who just kind of ran everybody off their feet. Keeps Paco Lopez, and I thought that she just really is a snug fit for here. Should get a nice stalking trip from the inside.
I went with the horse you have in third on top of my ticket. I do have your 1 War Star, and that is La Cara Bonita, who's a candidate, I believe, for rebound performance. She followed that solid 2 lifetime victory last out with a stalking week in 4th. It was stepped up to this level last time out for Victor Barboza Jr. Edgar Zayas in the saddle today. I thought maybe this horse, can bounce back after having that 1 race, after the nice win, the old bounce-rebound angle.
And I thought the 6 Dalanega, first off the claim for Bobby De Bono, was an interesting one as far as the speed prospect does go, with the Misael Jaramillo in the saddle.
We're on the turf again for race number 5, a mile turf event. These are starter optional claimers. 3-year-olds started for 50 or less, or the optional tag of 50. 8 in the field, no scratches, no jockey changes. Hey, finally we're in agreement with the number 5 horse in here. Yes, this time.
Yeah, this horse, called by Not This Time, so a cute name there, was moved to the Kelly Breen barn 2 starts back and did not get out of the gate well 2 back. And then last time broke well and was able to dictate a very slow pace, but did win, I thought, very nicely. The 2 races for the barn so far and the maiden win at Fairgrounds win with Mike Stidham, I thought were all strong performances. I think makes him a major player in this spot. The Brad Cox runner, the 2 Wentru, has buyer speed figures that certainly make him really competitive, but he's never run here in Florida coming in from the Fairgrounds. We just, I think, don't really know what to expect from him.
Yeah, I got that maiden victory 2 starts back, then the 30 starter allowance victory going a mile last time out. You don't know what the Brad Cox, he's been hard to gauge the whole meet. Does he have his A game here? Does he have his B game? But he's had a couple of wins over the last couple of days. We both have honorable. The 3 turning back to the mile, made a failed attempt to reel in the, last time out when they competed at a mile in the 16th. Maybe it's the old reverse-a-roo this afternoon at the shorter distance.
And he does have some speed, too.
Yeah, he does have some speed. 6th race this afternoon, 5 1/2 furlongs, maiden special weight, 3-year-olds. Number 1, G-Bar. We're going to go back and look at this horse's last performance here. We both have this one, I believe, on top. And as you see, it was that sloppy day that afternoon. The G-Bar just gets caught at the wire in this race. G-Bar is the number 4 in this race and just gets runs down. But there is a couple of horses coming after him in here. One of them is the horse that ends up finishing 4th, and that is the number 10, who is Collaborate. And on the inside, that's Shug's horse in there, Bears Watching. So go back and look at those horses. They both came back, and Bears Watching, Collaborate and Bears Watching were just too much. Bears Watching came back to win like a monster in his next start on a fast main track, and Collaborate, after this race, went back and won and is going to be in the Florida Derby. So turns out to be a pretty good key race, albeit in the slop.
Yeah, and I didn't really like Democracy, who was the winner of this race. You can see the size right there down to the wire, the size disparity. G-Bar is very small, which is something I've noticed of the Frosteds. On the bottom side, the pedigree's all distance on dirt, but I don't think he wants to go any further than 6 furlongs. I actually think the slight turn back to 5.5 should suit him well, whereas Bears Watching and Collaborate in particular, who stretched out in distance, got a 90 buyer speed figure next time out. Bears Watching an 83. So both of them came back to win nicely, as we thought they would after having that race under their belt. And I couldn't jump off the G-Bar train just yet because I do like him. And I think he's got definitely a big opportunity to get the win today. The number 6, Scrappy Artie, did debut in State Bred Company and is now stepping up to face open runners. But Mike Yates is just so good with particularly sprinters and maidens and getting them ready. This is an uncaptured, not a Cajun Breeze. And as I keep saying, I really do wonder the quality of that Joshy Jack race. Even though he came back, it was a 3-horse field. We saw twice too many get beaten in a short field the other day. But this one also has some speed and had a good race underneath of him.
Well, he certainly lived up to his name, Scrappy Artie. He was dueling from start to finish. He finished 3rd behind that horse you were alluding to, Joshy Jack. Mike H., he's solid with maidens making their second start, as you pointed out. I went with the 3 in 3rd, and that's a Nako, who's cutting back to 5.5 furlongs. Sort of, if you go back and look at his last race, he raced greenly. He finished, I thought, a needed 3rd, going 3/4 of a mile for the one and only Gustavo Delgado. Edgar's Eyes handling the son of Gratz today. I just thought he needed that race badly last time.
Yeah, this is now be a start number 4, so you're expecting him to take that next step forward. I think he has to take a big step forward with some of the horses in here potentially. I thought the number 4 Wara was interesting, as this one is last 2 races were on the turf, but the pedigree is all for dirt. Upstart has been fine on turf, but I think in general his offspring have liked dirt more. The Dam was a stakes winner, 12-time dirt sprint winner. Both of the siblings were dirt sprinters, and I just had to mention the 2 Bag Boss, which is a first-time starter for Brendan Walsh, and I love looking through pedigrees. We all know that. The Dam, she didn't really do much on the track. She won 1 race out of her 3 starts, but she is the sister to champion Blind Luck. So I'm curious to see what this one may have in store with that big pedigree on the bottom side.
It's Bag Boss. What an interesting name. Okay, we're going to take a little bit of a break. When we come back, as I mentioned at the top, we get $1 million jackpot guarantee in the Rainbow Six.
12 as they roll into the backstretch.
Welcome back to Gulfstream today. Ron Nicoletti along with Akisha Courtney. And the seventh race kicks off the Rainbow Six with a $1 million jackpot guarantee. And it's also the first of 3 stakes races on the afternoon. There you see that $1 million jackpot guarantee. So I said last night, $1 million, I'm going to stop by the ATM and I'm going to pump up my ticket a little bit to $64.80. Just thought it was a really tough sequence, but a fun sequence. And the Melody of Colors, of course, starts it off. I like Lioness of Brittany. I couldn't leave Wink out. I'm going to go back and show you this horse's race at Monmouth a long time ago in 2020, not that long ago. And then I got 3 deep in race number 8. I thought was so wide open, but I like Swing Low out of those. Race number 9, waiting to see the number 10, Tiesto, come back. I also use Sambesa for Shug. And in race number 10, I think Pacific Gale is going to run good again. And got the little bit of a long shot in race number 11, the 4 Chasm. I see so much speed in that race. Even though there was a early scratch in that race, I think that's a horse that could come from off the pace. I think 6 or 7 to 1 on the morning line.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. I didn't see the line. He's one of my he's my top pick in there.
Well,
actually,
let's see. Let me see. No, 6 to 1. 6 to 1.
6 to 1.
Yeah,
all right. Well, hopefully we get that.
Yeah, but I think that we lost some of the speed in there, but there's so much speed in that race. Getting back to the Melody of Covers, it's a 5-furlong sprint, first of all, for fillies, 3-year-olds, $75,000. Scratched the 1-horse freak. That was the main track only. And I went with Lioness of Brittany, who's turning back to 5 furlongs after a 2-race win streak at the distance ended. She showed speed. She faded. That was in the 1-mile grade 3 Swedish Chant. For Steve Klosaris, he's good with horses turning back in distance. I thought maybe this could be a logical one. I don't know if this one, third choice on the morning line.
Yeah, she actually didn't show that much speed last time.
Right.
It was a very strange race in that she was stretching out, and you thought that she would be on the engine early, and she kind of raided. It was a really strange race, and I don't think she wants any part of a mile, to be honest. I think she's going to be very happy to turn back in distance to the 5 furlongs today. And while she was part of the pace 2 starts back, she was able to kind of back it off a little bit. Even though it was pretty quick, she was able to kind of sit right in that perfect catbird seat. I think she has to be part of the pace. I think that's her best running style, and for some reason she wasn't able to use that last time out. So I think that this is a good place for her as well. She has that natural speed. However, I did see a lot of other speed in here. Wink is going to be fast. Fuzia is very, very fast. And I went with the 5, Sleek Lynx, who is off of a layoff. But this is a horse that was just beaten in her debut, went right into the Grade 1 Natalma up at Woodbine and trying some of those Grade 1 turf races for 2-year-olds. Broke her maiden really nicely. But she has that closing running style, similar to Kasim. I feel like these 2 turf sprint races may actually set up in a similar way. So I think that Sleek Lynx, an expensive filly, by Warfront, the dam, Don Alberto purchased the dam for $2.6 million a couple years ago when they added her to the broodmare band. So I think that this one has the potential to be a good one.
Well, we're talking about Winks, and here was debuting locally for Wesley Ward. The first start since finishing third in that Group 3 race at the Longchamp was 50 cents to the dollar. I think it's the, how do you say, Prix d'Arenberg, I guess? Yeah, Prix d'Arenberg. But we're going to go back. We couldn't get that race. So I went back, and I just wanted to show you the race from Monmouth. This is back in August 2020. And just showing the stretch run here with Wink. Basically from the start to finish, holding off, it's stablemate. Her stablemate here to win it. You just wanted to show that this horse, I think, is going to be one of the speeds that you were alluding to this afternoon. And when you go and you're 50 cents to the dollar at Longchamp, you got to have some talent.
Yeah, and I think now in Europe, in England, and France, they've kind of caught on to Wesley Ward's fast horses, particularly sprinting. You have to watch out for them, especially because that was 5 furlongs in France at that try in the Group 3, and she did have Michael Barcelona aboard. So the blinkers come off today. I watched her recent workout up at Palm Meadows, and she was working without blinkers over the turf course there in preparation for this race, and she was much the best in company. So I think that she could be an interesting one in this spot. Curious to see what she has to offer.
Yeah, and one other horse I just wanted to touch on, I think is going to take money because of the connections, and that's Rocket Reload. 2 for 2 in the money, sprinting in the grass debuts for Brad Cox. Defeated 50 optional claimers going in the slop at the fairgrounds. I don't know what you get with this horse. Julian Leperoux in the saddle today. And the horse we have in fourth, Fuzia, is going to be on the engine.
Yeah, I spoke to Safi Joseph the other day, and he said trying to be the speed of the speed. Her last race with the addition of those blinkers, that extension blinker on, really propelled her forward. She has the best last out buyer of an 81.
Let's go to race number 8, 1 mile maiden special weight. 3-year-olds here kicks off a final pick 5. Let's take a look at Acacia's ticket.
Well, I do have a $27 play, and I singled your long shot because I didn't realize it was a long shot. I think Kasim is going to get a great trip today. It starts off with the maiden race on the dirt. I'm 3 deep in here, looking forward to that one. Race 9, 3 horses as well, though we did lose one horse that I thought was going to be one to take some money in Glynn County. I think it's still competitive. Looking forward to see Tiesto as well. In race number 10, that's the Hurricane Birdie. I've got Pacific Gale and Slam Dunk, and I'm singling Kasim. In race number 11, I've got my long shot in the nightcap. Shot Tanker in the last race. I'm trying to wire the field with a big drop in class. Marcos Meneses has been running well, actually 30-1 on the morning line. So let's see if I get anything close to that, but a $27 play.
Boy, I'm liking that, 30-1. Mine's 6-1, and you singled it, so that's not going to be much of a long shot this afternoon. Or race 8, we were different sort of again in here. I went with Swing Low, who's facing open special weight competition today after dueling for the lead and finishing second in a race that you do not like, and that is Joshy Jack. And that was that state-bred special weight affair at the same mile distance.
Yeah, I just, and it's not that I don't like the horse. I think that he's done fine running. He's done well. I just don't think the quality of those races stacks up to open company. That's my theory, and especially with the horse that finished second to him being a heavy favorite yesterday and getting beat for Brian Lynch. I think it's something to proceed with a little bit of caution. That said, Kent Sweezy, second time out, absolutely could take a step forward and ran well for a firster for a barn that typically doesn't have them cranked up first time out. I also took another second time starter, and that's the 3 Eversting, who was called by Frosted, and I didn't really love for the turf. He also had an awkward break in his debut, hopping at the start. Annex came back to win a stake for Bill Mott. I thought that this one would actually love a mile on dirt.
The number 4, Talus, I think it is wheeling back after chasing stablemate Promise Keeper, finishing 4th behind him in his career debut, going a mile. That was that sloppy day. Todd Pletcher, he's great with maidens making their second start. He does it all the time, and that's why we have him prominently placed on our ticket.
And this one is out of multiple graded stakes winning mare Isabella Singh. She was all turf, of course, so I think that that's why, even though it was a turf family, really top and bottom, Uncle Mose could run on the turf. This one looked like a dirt horse to me. He's actually been working in the mornings with Known Agenda, who is pointing to the Florida Derby.
I really like today's 9th race. I'm interested to see how you figured it out. Mile in the 16th on the turf allowance, optional claimer 4 and up, with the optional tag of $25,000. There's so many nice horses in there, and we both did end up on the number 10 in here. Tiesto, I know, who you have some interest in.
Yeah, and it's funny because talking about pedigree, this one has like no turf pedigree at all, and he's been more of a turf horse. He's the half brother to multiple graded stakes winner Promises Fulfilled, who was a dirt sprinter. There was one sibling that was a minor turf winner, and so I can understand why with the pedigree they tried him in the bluegrass to go on the dirt, and he just didn't run a step. So Vandolph after that, he's been off the layoff, and it just looks like it's back to what he's good at, which is being on the turf. And I remember seeing him last year as an early 3-year-old running in those turf races, so looking forward to seeing him back.
The number 3 is Sam Basie. Well, by the way, we had a couple of scratches in there,
Yeah.
the 2, 5, and 6, so I think it bodes well for the number 3, Sam Basie, who's stepping up the competition after returning from the extended layoff to defeat those 35 2 lifetime claimers. And boy, did this horse win impressively for Shug McGay with Corey Lannery atop this gelded son of First Samurai. We saw a horse like this yesterday. Then the name skips me there from Todd Pletcher. We said, why did it drop? Why did they start him here? And the horse just ran exceptionally well, and I think that's the case with Sam Baser.
Yeah, Sam Backer.
But Sam Backer.
Yeah, I ran into the owners after
Yeah.
his race, and they were saying they always called him a linebacker when he was a 2-year-old, but the spelling of, and he's by First Samurai, spelling of Sam Backer with the CK wasn't accepted. So it is pronounced Sam Backer. But yeah, a year almost to the day, and he won so impressively. It's been a very good meet for Shug McGahee. Jose Ortiz, if you're looking for him, or Irad Ortiz, they're both riding at the fairgrounds today. So Corey Lannery will be aboard.
The number one, Tool Forest, is a British bred, stretching out to the mile at 16. Really solid North American debut for Ian Wilkes, which he rallied to finish third. He was only beaten a half length, so a good performance. He's got a huge shot in this spot.
No, I agree. If he moves forward even a little bit from that U.S. debut, he should be a major player in here. Typically, with some of the European horses, you like to give him a start in the United States, and he run very, very well.
Well, the feature race of the afternoon comes in race number 10, 6 1/2 furlongs, fillies and mares 4 and up. $100,000. It is the grade 3, the Hurricane Birdie. 8 in the field, no scratches, no jockey changes to let you know about. And Pacific Gale is turning back to the 6 1/2 furlongs. Just want to go back and show you her last race when she won the grade 2. Inside information. Just, was there and just, made that move as they turned for home. Was just so impressive. And as you watch this horse go through the stretch, basically it is the number 6. Just basic hand. Right, I mean, she had to hustle a little bit, but this was really a good performance.
Oh, she made me look smart at 16 to 1. I've always liked her, so I couldn't jump off the train today as she turns back a half a furlong. And she was always owned by Toby Morton. And I had spoken to John Kimmel after the race and found out that Mr. Mike Morton had passed away recently before that race. And it looks like either a private purchase or a transfer here to Holly Hill Stable. But she is still with John Kimmel, which is nice to see. And I'm sure the Mortons are very proud of what she's done after a 2-year winless streak and got to the winner's circle last time out in style. She should get a nice trip again today as there's enough speed. But slam dunk, talking about Shug McGahee off a layoff, he had this one ready to roll off the bench last time out.
Yeah, grade 1 stakes place sort of into mischief, trying to make it 2 in a row. And after returning from that layoff for Shug and defeating those 25 optional claimers in game fashion, slam dunk, March Madness, Hunt's play of the day.
There you go.
I don't know if that's
I don't know if anybody's bracket's a slam dunk. I'm out.
Oh, yeah. I can't even figure mine out yet because I think I keep hearing who won, and I go, I think I had the other team.
Yeah.
So what about Sound Machine in here, who won the $75,000 Glitter Woman at this distance, stretches out after rallying to finish third against those 62,005 optional claimers, going 3/4 for Safi with Tyler.
Yeah, and it's all about timing with this horse. I spoke to Safi about her leading up to the race, and he said that they actually did do a throat surgery after her last start and hoping that that'll help her take that step forward and get that elusive graded stakes victory, which I found very interesting because she does tend to kind of flatten out a bit. You have to time it right with this horse, move at the right time, and Tyler's gotten the chance to ride her quite a few times, and let's see if she can get that graded stakes win today.
Well, race number 11, 5 furlongs on the turf. These are the boys, 3-year-old, $75,000, the Texas Glitter. And here is Acacia's single. I find this very, very amusing today that I thought I'd get him a prize.
I had no idea he was 6 to 1. I had no idea, honestly. Yeah, I just thought he was going to close and get a great trip. I realized that he broke his maiden for 50 after being claimed. I think that they kind of are happy that they got away with that one because he came right back and won really nicely 2 starts back. I think he rallied a little bit last time, but should get a ton of speed to run at today.
Yeah, we had one scratch in here of the number 1 horse, and by the way, I didn't mention that, and that's Karimba, who had, for Wesley Ward. If you look at that horse's 2 races way back, just with speed right out of the gate, but that I don't think affects it very much in here. The number 3 Field Day is making his stakes debut for Brad Cox after shipping him from the fairgrounds. He was able to win. He defeat those optional claimers by 2 lengths, so he's got to win over the track with Javier Castellano in the saddle.
And that definitely, I think, elevates him in this spot, but he could be part of the pace. Rated a little bit last time, but he will be forwardly placed in here. The 6 Nitro Time, what a good claim he's been for Safi. Speaking of Safi, could be a very busy day for him. But this horse has to go. He is the speed of the speed. So you'll see him on the engine early.
He had a 3-race win streak. He gets beat last time out. That was turf course, was listed as good. Was that the reason? I don't know. The other 3 victories were on a firm course. We'll see if that plays out with Nitro Time this afternoon. But he's definitely on the engine. But he's going to have his running shoes on. But that's what these 5 furlong turf races races are about. Now we'll go to the final race, about 7.5 on the turf. These are 4 and up non-winners of a race since September 20th, $16,000. Want to go back and show you an old hard-knocking campaigner, the number 1 Valley now, who's making his 5-year-old debut for Eddie Plesa Jr. This race we're picking up was the English Channel. This horse is the number 5 that day. Now, this was a while back, but I just want to show you how game this horse is in this race. He just says, well, there's no room here. Oh, yes, there is. I'll make some room, and actually wins this race by, just in crane fat. Still don't think he's going to win, and he's able to get up and win it by a nose. Now, that was a long time ago. That was when he was he had a 4-race win streak going during 2019. He lost his next race, and haven't seen him since.
Yeah, I mean, that was nearly 2 years ago. So what do you do with him now? That's the biggest thing. And he's a former stakes winner. Why bring him back and drop him in for 16? It just doesn't make any sense to me. I had no idea what to do with him.
Yeah.
I thought this was a very tough race. Obviously, we agree with the bottom 3 choices, but I've got my 30-1 crazy long shot in here. But I just thought that Shot Tanker could wire the field. I mean, he came back and showed speed last time out, running for $35,000. He faced Mischievous Alex prior to that in a dirt allowance. He had run some fine races in Chile prior to that. I just thought that he could be one to set the pace and potentially run away from everybody else. Second time with Angel Rodriguez, drops in class. Marcos Meneses has been bringing some nice runners home at some big prices.
Yeah, I'm going to be betting this your long shot absolutely today, because that's the kind of race it is. I mean, Valmy now, as you mentioned, that was almost 2 years ago. Golden decision. Okay, my point exactly for Carlos David, Miguel Vasquez. Yeah, they're logical contenders, but not really sold on any of those horses. So and maybe that's the rate you go with the 30-1 shot instead of my long shot. It was probably going to be 3-5. It looks the way it's going now. So we'll see how everything plays out, but we're not done yet, because we have our lightning round coming up right now.
Yes, we do. It seems always to be the first bullet point on this lightning round is somebody with a multi-win day yesterday. And this time around, it was a Misael Jaramillo, a good Friday for him. 3-win day on the card. Here he is winning race number 7, his 3rd win of the day. Pretendant on the outside at a big upset.
You had to show this race, didn't you, with my long shot there, number 2, getting beat a nose at the wire, Buffalo Max at 7-1. But, hey, great day by Misael Jaramillo.
Absolutely, if you had him, for sure. As we look ahead, we've talked about it a couple times, horses pointing to the Florida Derby. And a new addition with a big name, Bob Baffert's Spielberg. I spoke to Bob Baffert yesterday, and Spielberg will work Sunday morning, but the plan is to point him to the Curlin Florida Derby next weekend.
Yeah, can't wait there. I think he's going to work, you said, on Sunday, right?
Yes.
Yeah, and so he'll be coming. That'd be great. Always good to have Mr. Baffert in town. Or if he's not here personally, at least his horses are here.
That's right, Denise. The key for this horse is that he distance not a problem, but got to get out of the gate. He's had a slow start in his last couple. So looking forward to seeing him as that Florida Derby field does take shape. But talking about derbies, we have the Hong Kong Derby, as they say, coming up on Sunday at Sha Tin. Field of 14 assembled. The favorite, Ron, is Russian Emperor. If you haven't ever had a chance to watch the racing in Hong Kong, I highly recommend it. It's a lot of fun.
I'm not mistaken. You went to Hong Kong, right?
Yes, I've been a couple times.
You've been a couple of times. Yeah, I know. There's just 40 zillion people. I don't know what the situation is now with, of course, COVID all around the world. But, they love their horse racing.
Yes, they do. And it is really exciting to see. It seems that, still a lot of restrictions there. But Sunday at Sha Tin, there's a 12-hour time difference. So take a look at that. But the Hong Kong Derby coming up this Sunday. As we like to talk about aftercare any chance we can on this show. And coming up on Monday, there will be a virtual exhibit. You can check out the Thoroughbred Retirement Foundation website. This is in conjunction with Aiken Thoroughbred Racing Hall of Fame and Museum, Ron.
Yeah, it's going to be a nice tour. You can see the Aiken Museum on this virtual tour. So make sure you go online and check it out. It's going to be really, Aiken, South Carolina. I've been there a couple of times, not for work or anything. Really a beautiful part of the country.
It is a lot of training centers there, and there is a TRF Second Chances facility. We have one here in Florida as well in Ocala for the women. And so, of course, any chance we get to support aftercare is always exciting. So check that out. As today, we've talked talked about the 3 stakes we have, we paid tribute to Hurricane Birdie. We thought it'd be fun to look back at the horse Hurricane Birdie, 14-time winner. This is her win in the 2000 First Lady Handicap here at Gulfstream.
Yeah, Hurricane Birdie, great that they named the race after, because she was just one hard-knocking race mare. So there you see it, winning the race. When what was that? 2001?
2000.
2000.
21
wow.
years ago. How crazy is that?
Well, yeah, I was there. I thought I saw myself running the finish
There
line.
you were. I know. I knew you were there. And thanks to Bob upstairs for getting that race from us as she was tough down to the wires. We'll honor her today with our feature race of the day. But that's it for us for now. Ron and I will be with you throughout the whole afternoon, and we'll send it up now to track announcer Pete Aiello for Scratches and Changes.